Um, so I'm playing another game. The game that I didn't realize how many hours I poured into. And let me get through my piece because JJ, you played a version of this game, and still are. The game that I've been pouring my hours into is surprised me, mostly because I did not see myself being interested in this at all.
Oh, now I know what we're doing.
Yeah, so I first had the chance to see this at Summer Game Fest last year, and it kind of took me by surprise, but it had been out on Apple Arcade, and this was the console version they were showing me. Well, now it's out, and and it there are some things, but for the most part, I am very pleasantly surprised with Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which I'm playing on the Switch. So brace yourself, right? I have to start this off first by saying the game starts with it's like there's actually a narrative behind this, just like there sort of is with the Animal Crossing, which this is definitely trying to ape a little bit from. But the game starts with the plane crash, which I got the code this week. Wrong week to have that as a part of the story because it doesn't. Woo! Look out. That was rough.
Not only does it start with a plane crash, first of all, it immediately takes that and makes a snakes on a plane joke.
Yeah, it does. It does. Cakes on a plane. So, anyway, so this is a. It's not necessarily a town builder, but it's a sort of hybrid between Animal Crossing and it really 3DS overworld style action games. What I mean by that is you're doing more than just building a house like you would in building and decorating a house like you would in Animal Crossing and games like this. You're actually doing puzzles. You're actually going around and you're hopping. You're doing some action stuff. You can capture bugs. You can go swimming and fishing, but you're actually doing a lot more action-oriented things. Jumping around, you're traversing, you're going on zip lines, you're going in caves, you're going in puzzle areas. So there's a lot more in this built into this than there is in Animal Crossing. There is so much, in fact, that you can kind of get a little overwhelmed. And I know the Switch actually did, because there are parts of the Switch kind of chugs along. Surprisingly, it's not the smoothest game on that platform. It definitely functions better on mobile. But this is a perfect Switch game while we're waiting for, and I think it's on a PC as well. So it just came out, and I think it's coming to PlayStation soon too. It's a perfect game while we're waiting for proper Animal Crossing to come out. Okay, let me go through some of my notes on this. So there's some, obviously I mentioned the action stuff. There's some light personalization. There's not a ton. There's some character customization that lets you choose which animal you want and kind of play with some of the stuff. Of course, I was a bird because birds rock. I freaking love birds. So I was this little robin looking thing that I created. But I don't feel as, because that you don't feel as connected to the character as if you made one that was a human in this animal world. So like Hello Kitty is a human in Animal World. But so you make an animal and they give you a few things that you can use to edit, to customize your character initially when you're creating them. But then you start to actually open stuff up later on. You open up more hats and more clothing and more, physical features and that kind of stuff. So, but because I'm not as connected as this character as I am in other games, I feel a lot of it's more about doing stuff and being in the moment, being sort of action oriented, and not really focusing on the personal space that we create, like our personal connections. Like the connections you make in this game so you've played, for a lot of us that have played the Animal Crossing game on mobile, Pocket Camp, you're building up hearts, and if you get one layer of hearts or one level of hearts, you get prizes, you get some rewards. Then another level of hearts, you get another level of rewards. And that's basically how you build up relationships. They're sort of superficial, right? You're kind of building up that the hearts, the connection with those characters, or that level with characters. And it's more about gaining stuff rather than having one character be more friendly to you than other characters, right? Like you would in Animal Crossing. But I think because that still feels like a mobile game a little bit, because there's nothing that actually has these Hello Kitty, Sanrio characters connect to you, right? They don't like come and go. They don't disappear. You're not trying to keep them there because they're all there with very specific jobs. So it's not like I can't become best friends with Kuromi because Kuromi is just a character that's there, right? I can give some of the nulls to these little weird little monsters. There's little, these little green things that you can give hats and stuff to, but you don't really form that bond like you would in other games. That's okay. Again, that's not what this is about. This is very open world-ish in the aspect of what you could do on this island. So there's so much that you could do so much exploring, right? You can go vertical, you can do, like I said, the zip lines, you can go across bridges because you're constantly looking for things. You're like finding items, you're exploring, and I really appreciate that in this game. I think one aspect of that is because there's no real world money. There's no there's no currency at all in this game. You're collecting stuff and you're getting hats, you're getting things for doing quests, and you can actually trade that stuff for bigger things. So instead of like trying to collect money, or turnips, you're just collecting items and using those and trading them up. And I actually like that aspect because it pulls away from having to grind monetarily. But it is held back a little bit because this is where the mobile aspect really kind of kicks in. There are very hard, like, daily things to do in this. So when you get through your day, you're kind of stuck waiting to do stuff, right? So whereas in Animal Crossing, you get through your day, you can still go, you can still kind of have fun, you can go fishing. It's really about sort of the relaxing thing. Because this is so action oriented, you're not necessarily relaxing, you're doing, right? So the daily grind, the daily tasks you have to do, you're supposed to wait a day to do a character quest. Like you have to get a certain amount of character levels before some things start to open up. But what that means is if you're not time shifting, which they really try to make a point, we don't want you time shifting, it'll break the game. It won't. You can be waiting like a week plus before things really start to open up. Now in Animal Crossing, that stuff is accelerated. You can actually really get into the game within like day 4. In this, if I didn't do a little bit of time shifting, I'd probably still be so early that it felt like it was grinding. However, there is, like I said, there's still so much to do while you're waiting for these other tasks to happen that you're never really feeling, at least in this initial part of the game, you're never really feeling like there's not something that you can do, because you can just keep exploring. You can go up, like the designs are great. There's a whole spooky Halloween town. There's minecart rides and a volcano. There's picnics. There's beaches. There's lakes. There's ponds. There's a lot of little biomes in here, which I think is awesome. There's no, obviously I've only been playing it for like a few days. There's no real like winter. There's no events like there are in Animal Crossing that I've noticed yet. I don't know if they're bringing some of that mobile stuff to this version, but check it out. You can climb. That's awesome. It's like
it has
Link
the
climbing
Breath
up
of the
side.
Wild spirit,
Yeah,
like
it
stamina
does.
meter.
It does. But the nice thing about it is that you don't get injured or whatever. Like the stamina meter goes up, and then if you just find a ledge, it refills real quickly. I do like it. It's actually a huge island. Like
It's a big map.
It's a big map. It's based on like this amusement park theme park. It's so charming as heck. The design, it's very Animal Crossing. Even the animations, like you see in some of these in this video, like the characters will spin and they'll hold something up, and it's like, oh, that's ripped straight out of. It's very similar games. But it's been a lot of fun to play. And again, I couldn't believe it. I sunk 20 hours in this thing in like 3 days. I started Thursday, and here it is Sunday, and I looked at the clock. I'm like, oh crap, I've spent a ton of time on this. It's beyond some of the grindy stuff, it can become a little bit of like a collectathon. That's what the mobile side is. So it doesn't quite leave its mobile trapping because that's where it started. And the sort of the leveling up you have to do certain things. But this is an easy recommendation for anybody this is a tail end of the Switch. And I think it's coming to PS4/PS5. It's on PC. It just came out PC as well. Very easy recommendation. There's plenty of stuff to do in this, and it's such a nice, just chill back, cozy, do weird things. You find I think they're Gudetama, which are the little egg characters. You find there's like in this video they show one like sunbathing, so its butt cheeks are out. I mean, it's really
that's his entire gimmick.
Yeah, it's entire gimmick, exactly. It's funny, it's cute. There are things layer a lot, like you start off by just in this little central square, and you can start exploring wherever you want. Like the game is trying to keep you behind gates, but because you can climb everywhere, it's just how novel can you be to break it and get around stuff. I will say though, if you're not careful, you will, which would happen to me. Like the cameras and the controls aren't perfect. Like I know this was meant to be a touchscreen game initially, and they switched it over to controls. The camera can kind of get locked in certain. It's a sort of a stationary camera, but it can get locked, especially if you get behind something and start to slip down like into off a cliffside or stuck between some trees or something. Then the whole camera everything will go black, and the camera will reset, and it'll push you back out to a spot before you get stuck there. So it's interesting. It's from that standpoint, but it's real pretty. It's great. It looks totally fine. You really only have one level in your house, and I'm really curious to see how far this goes on the Switch. Like I really want them to support it with events and with things to do, because I feel like this game could very well end up being something that people come back to for a while. This could be like one of those year-long games where you just keep coming back to it, just like the games that inspired it. But it's good. It's so fun. It's great. I know, like JJ, you've been playing it on mobile, right? On Apple Arcade.
Yeah, I played it on Apple Arcade when it first came out. So it's funny to play it because, like, the whole Apple Arcade conceit is to you can't buy anything. Like you have, the game needs to be feature complete. Like in there, you can't. Yeah. There's no microtransaction. So you can see the game trying to self-correct itself to what it probably originally was. So that's sort of the thing. But yeah, no, I did buy it for Steam at the end of the year.
Okay.
Just because
I liked it. Have you cracked it open yet?
I really liked it. It's been. I've cracked it open. I started going through some of the stuff. I've gotten the flippers. That's
okay. Yeah, the flippers. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's very easy to start. Like once you get going, it's very easy to get lost. And like we had the TV on in the background watching regular TV. The next thing you know, you're climbing stuff just like a regular like Breath of the Wild. I spent the first part of the game opening up the entire map if I could. It was great.
I love that it has little like Breath of the Wild style temple puzzles. That
solve. This very easy little temples.
There's low impact, but they're like there's a couple of them where you're sitting there and you're like, wait, what are you trying to tell? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I gotta use this. I gotta step on this block. It's gotta shoot me up and grab this thing and go to the other side. Yeah.
It's cute. I've always liked Sanrio characters.
It's great.
They're adorable.
They did a great job. It's funny because you can get Sanrio gear in Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing proper, and then they did both the mobile version and the New Leaf, and now they got or whatever. Now they got
the amiibo cards.
Me too. I got like 50 of them because I thought they'd be worth something, but they're not.
Dumbass.
Just great, just real cool.
It's cool because it's
very
definitely
easy recommendation.
When you're in terms of when you're talking about like the less connection to the characters in Animal Crossing. I think at the end it feels more Sims like that it does Animal Crossing in that sense where it really is. Right. It feels way more, even though you're controlling a specific character, it definitely feels more God gamey than Animal Crossing does. Sure. It feels like you're guiding your OC in this town as opposed to being your OC. So
I mean,
You're not friends with Cinnamoroll. Your
Yeah,
character, that your unnamed character, is friends with
yeah,
Cinnamoroll.
yeah, exactly. And I guess that's where the standpoint comes. That's the one little aspect that, I mean, it sets yourself apart from other games in the genre, is that it does play more like that. You mentioned God mode, but it does play more like you're here for a reason and there are things to do here, rather than
Yeah.
just sit and relax by the beach. Like in Animal
Mhm.
Crossing, people found all kinds of crazy stuff to do. Like they would, remember, you could build,
Yeah.
we built mazes in that game. You can't really do that
Yeah.
here. This
Yeah.
definitely is
There's
more of a,
no.
here your this is your job. This is what you have to do, and
Yeah.
you're not, characters will not react to you differently
Yeah.
because it's
If you're
all,
not
yeah.
if you're not like, if you're like me, where you're not particularly good at the creative side of things, where you're
Hmm,
like
hmm.
building like your town, this is the,
Yeah, yeah,
I recreated an amphitheater over here on my Animal Crossing island or whatever. It's like, that's not
yeah.
me. I
Uh-huh,
can't,
uh-huh.
I can't do that.
Sure.
Like so for me, like Animal Crossing, as much as I love it, after you get like a certain point, it's like, well, I shook all the trees, I got all the fossils, I
Hmm.
I don't know. What do I do now? This
Yeah,
one's a game. This is a game. At the end
this
of
is
the
a
day,
game.
this one's
It's
just an
definitely more
actual
game-like.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's great. It's charming. Like I suggested this to you, Sam, as a review. I'm like, does Sam want to review this, or should I? And I know JJ, you said, because you said you had played it on the Apple Arcade. And I'm like, you know what? I deserve a cozy-ish game. So I took the, yeah. This definitely a game, and I really enjoy it. And again, it's 20 plus hours. And I'm kind of itching to go back and do some more. I don't know. I don't know what the end game is to this. I don't know if there is an end game. I know that if this is anything like other games in the genre, it's really just kind of a daily spin. But yeah, 2 days,
the
two
the deluxe
days
edition, the
in,
deluxe.
it's
Yeah,
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 I
it's
saw
been
that there
yeah,
was
yeah. And
co-op in there.
yeah. There's multiplayer
So
co-op
is that
stuff.
local or is it online?
I haven't done any. I haven't played with the
I,
local. I haven't played the co-op yet. No, I haven't.
I don't think
Uh,
anyone particularly cares about the co-op part of it, because I think it's one
yeah,
of those things where it's like, I think it's like one at a time kind of thing. So I don't know how it is.
Gotcha.
yeah.
So
Like I think it's in person, I want to say. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I'll have to dig into that. I mean, it's not a big selling feature for this game. I don't even
yeah,
really
I
know
don't know. Like, I don't know how, like, it wouldn't change the experience at all, because the game
Yeah,
is really
yeah.
just sort of focused on very specific hunting and gathering, to make delicious cakes for your friends, and then
Hmm,
give them some, blue lotus flowers so their heart goes up, and then
hmm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think
yeah,
it's definitely online. Like you can definitely connect online.
yeah.
You have this little phone, just like you had in Animal Crossing. So you have this little phone,
Yeah,
and
no,
you use that phone to connect.
it just
Y-
outright
It,
stole a lot of stuff from Animal
I think
Crossing.
it's, but yeah, just like that, you get like a little character code and go on there. But again, I didn't have anybody to go online with, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's it's only two player from what I know. But I don't know if you could do it on this. I don't think you could do it on, like, I haven't been able to do it on the same Switch. I think it is just online. Either way, it's you're just kind of hosting somebody to
I'm
come to your
curious.
island and do some of the island stuff together.
Yeah. You were
Yeah.
saying like you hope they bring some of the like event stuff, because like that's the
Yeah.
deluxe edition. The deluxe edition pretty much exists to unlock stuff from
Yep.
like previous holidays that have come and gone, that you won't be able to re-experience in the game, because Halloween 2023 has come and gone, so you can't get the Halloween 2023 shirt
Sure.
unless you get the
Sure.
deluxe edition kind of thing. So I'm
Yep.
hoping that the game's not dead. I hope this kind of gives it a shot in the arm, and this
Yeah.
isn't just
Yeah.
them like making like, Pocket Camp goes give us kind of thing. Like,
Mhm,
it's done
mhm.
now. Here's the complete version. So
There is
yeah.
one cool aspect, and I think this is maybe I will. JJ, maybe you and I will have to try this. I don't know if it'll use if I'll be able to do it or not, between crossplay between Switch and PC. But one kind of cool thing is that I know the multiplayer, again, I don't think you can do it on the same, I think it's just online, is that you and I can grow our friendship level within the game. And so we start to open up some little quests and stuff there. So like if I give you a gift or you hop into my island and we hunt stuff around or whatever, then you can, our bond will grow. We can unlock like new emotes and items and things like that. So I know that, but again, I haven't tried it. So Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I'm gonna sink more hours in it. This may be one of those games that I think you got to get this digitally so that you have it on your Switch all the time or on your device all the time, because it is kind of an interesting game to kind of it's a fun game to just go back to and putz around in and see what my Sanrio characters are up to. So yeah, Hello Kitty.